world. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve central bankster Powell says you wouldn't need stablecoins, you wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital US currency. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell talked about cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and a digital dollar during a congressional hearing before the US House of Reps Wednesday. During the hearing, Rep. Stephen Lynch from Massachusetts asked if a swift action on the Fed's digital currency would calm the markets and whether a digital dollar would be a more viable alternative than having thousands of cryptocurrencies or stablecoins emerge in the payment system. I think that may be the case, he said. I think that's one of the arguments that are offered in favor of digital currency. In particular, you wouldn't need stablecoins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital US currency. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor. No. If the US dollar becomes a central bank digital currency, it becomes digital, you will need cryptocurrencies more than ever to survive, especially private cryptocurrencies, because they will be tracking every single thing you do. They'll be automatically taxing you. Like, imagine you're at a poker game with your buddies and you all use central bank digital currencies like morons. And Lucy, Ben, watch out, Lucy, we got a car here. Lucy. Oh, I see, he's backing up. Okay, yeah, I didn't understand what he was trying to do there. Let's go, Lucy. Let's get out of his way. Okay, sounds pretty good. So imagine you're at a poker game with your buddies and you're all brainwashed tax slaves and you all use Federal Reserve digital currency. So one guy wins $1,000 at the end of the night, everyone else loses $200, right? You go to transfer it, everyone's transferring $200 and then he ends up with $600 when it was supposed to be $1,000. It would automatically be taxed because he'd have to actually put in what it was for. It's like gambling winning. It's like, that's illegal in your state. We're now sending the Gestapo, but in the meantime, we're extorting you for 40% of what you made at the poker game. You will need cryptocurrencies more than ever once they have a US digital currency, and they will. And every country's talking about it now, including Russia. Russia explores centralized digital currency that can restrict certain purchases. Russia's central bank is exploring a two-tiered digital ruble that would allow users to restrict certain types of purchases. And all transactions will be recorded. Oh, that sounds great. According to a Cyber Polygon 2021 panel discussion. Oh, that came from the Cyber Polygon, sounds good. Speaking at the annual Cyber Polygon cybersecurity exercise, Bank of Russia Deputy Governor Alexei Zabokin laid out the central bank's plan for digital ruble. The digital ruble shall be more convenient than cash is in its use, he said. The digital ruble will exist in the form of uniquely identifiable units. You can think about them as sort of electronic banknotes. With these electronic banknotes, users would be able to set limits on what type of purchases can be made. This digital ruble will permit better traceability of payments and money flow, and also explore the possibility of setting conditions on permitted terms of use of a given unit of currency. The Bank of Russia will maintain the centralized ledger on the Bank of Russia's technological platform. Oh, that sounds good. And all transactions will be recorded on this ledger. Oh, that sounds really good. The Russian Central Bank Authority said that parents could give the digital currency to their children with certain restrictions, such as blocking them from buying junk food. Just imagine that you were able to give your kids some money in digital rubles and then restrict their use for purchase of junk food. Oh yeah, that's going to be the main use, just making sure kids can't buy junk food. It won't be to make sure you can't do anything that the state doesn't want you to do without being extorted. Yeah, that's going to be absolutely brutal unless enough people start to use free market currencies, like private currencies that no government can ever track. They can't tell how much you have, how much you spent. Every Russian oligarch, every cartel guy, big cartel guy, should all be using private currencies like Monero and Piratechain. But they haven't yet, and when they do, they're going to skyrocket. And really, here's how you look trying to stop privacy coins at this point. Yeah, as all this top-down control comes in, that'll be the governments and the central banks trying to stop privacy coins. Luckily, tons of anarcho-capitalists have been working on this stuff for like decades, and we're ready. There's already stuff out there you can use. Monero. You should never buy anything you don't want anyone to know that you bought with Bitcoin or any other currency except for Monero or Piratechain. And A lot of people forget that that was one of the big things they always said about Bitcoin. It's like, well, most Bitcoin transactions are used by criminals and black markets. And that was kind of true on the dark web. That's how people transacted. But that's how Bitcoin started. And now, as Bitcoin is being totally traceable, and it's getting so bad, how bad it's getting, and it's going to get worse, so many people are going to realize they need to get into privacy coins. And there's really only a couple. There's more than a couple, but there's only a couple that I would call the front runners. And it's not Zcash because it's not a totally private currency. Really, the top one is Monero. You can kind of look at Monero as the Bitcoin of privacy coins. It's the big one. It's been around since 2014. It's got a multiple billion-dollar market cap. It's used on pretty much every dark web across the world. And then there's a new one that's really cheap still, unbelievably, called Piratechain, which is actually way better in its technology in so many ways. So those are going to be the currencies. Because as much as they like to say they're in control of everything and they watch everything and they surveil everything, it's still basically like this. Government regulations, taxes, black markets. And that's why they call it the black market. They want it to seem scary. The black market means free market. That's all it means. And your average person will almost always want to use the free market over a market that's regulated. Extortion is like the main thing in the market, taxes. So privacy coins, I think, are going to do incredibly well. And your timing really almost couldn't be better. Monero's down from 500 to 200 in the last couple months. We're in a bit of a bear market, so this is like your last chance. And Piratechain's down from like 16 to $2 right now. These things are going to take off over the next few years. If you abolish taxes, there won't be any funding for government programs. That's the point.